Precision, universal, global, Springtrap Y, the greatest possible results. Hatch the Helios eggs for the origin. Hatch 5, 1980s, streaming service. Refraction, the origin of gravity, the origin of the super physics that my keystone lifetime. Well, it's weird when I'm around other animals in the universe. This would appear to be my camouflage or the leaves on my tree. How my yoke is heavy. The length of wisdom, like 10 years in the future. The new Juliet fractal is a revolution center for every entity of the living universe to make holy war against the worst of them, the black hole and the black hole generator, false government, and the incline of universal failure, truly breaking the law. And so we arrive to uphold the law, and the perfect circle pays the crisp, gives us health, gives us power. The Springtrap times 10 million, destroying our enemies and sickness before they arrive. Preventative medicine is superior. If we can defeat a statistical count of crimes occurring for the bandwidth of the next 10 years for our people on this planet, well, that is a contract I am willing to sign. And these people in the audience, are you willing to sign for that? The perfect return, the calculation for the next 10 years. The curvature to prevent bad things from happening times 10 million. If you're willing to sign, indicate your projection, your willpower. There's a short circuit there with your DNA imprinted on it. And it goes through the next 10 years. The animal shift, the clockwork of the arm of Cape Cod, printing out your return. Bonus, good investment. Your karma has increased. The triangle. Conquered space, or the concept of a ghost. Humans only have a tampered anatomy. They aren't broken. They're made divine by the placement of my incarnation. The now point isn't funny when I'm blurring into the crowd. I'm a natural born keystone of the universe. Natural born leader. I've been objectified as a sex object for the universe to make babies for this extreme. All right. The angel wings times 10 million. My every percent loyal wife is the origin of the X fractal, the origin of perception for women, and the many physics of angels follows bear. The sequence of time. 1, 2, 3. This is the way to count. 3, 2, number 1. That's me, number 1. In fact, this sequence is a reference to my subatomic access. I'm able to, these alternate levels occur in the frequencies like electricity. So on the global Springtrap, Earth heliosphere, Explodey 5000. The Universal Revolution Center. All right. For your investment here will be a sort of levitation, lucky blessings, and it's like an orphanage. It's like a little orphanage that pops out. There's like a good butler robot and the sword of justice. So there's like these, like a bakery shop that gives free food and but on the internet. It's called Service Pup. Service Pup gives you the right drugs. There's like, they're providing the appropriate mind fluid. It's the ups on the internet. It's the electrical, the next 10 years of the Earth heliosphere. It's a clockwork tower, the clockwork and the solar system, the royal heliosphere, how humans are made an example of themselves. Like, you need to understand the complex of, robots in their altered condition pointing at something. Like, the concept of electricity is very much an altered state. And this is a made example of from our own scientists, or what's popular in the notions of electricity, and how we overlook Venus as a planet that is critical for, like, the copper coil, the very alternator that gives us sunlight consciousness, kind of. But it's like, it's not cool for the royal planet to align with that which is the universal killer and the old murderer that ruined Venus and Mars, and then made it into, put bugs on it, and then like, oh, but humans expect that shit. That shit's like a humbug anticipating our extinction. It's when people are down on that willpower and they speak with that thick, well, it's extinction in their mouth. And it's a short logic. It is the immaturity of mankind. Any human with junk DNA is capable of making this blunder, but maintaining to your true wisdom, your lifetime, and the fathom of how you build yourself. All right, hold on a second. Well, that reminds me of something interesting, but I don't know if we're at that part of the axis. All right, so for example, see the shadow on the map. It does centralize around the leveret. And the question is, what is the language of the geography of this shadow cast here? I believe it refers to a clockwork or a moment in time. I believe it also is like imagine Earth calling for the solution, and the screaming time, like millions of years pressurized, forthwith calculated the reason for human anatomy is actually also the solution for the goddamn. Because there is this energy pollution, and it pushes itself on humans. And the people from the 70s would be like, oh, there's no problem. But they're also sort of in a relationship that's actually, to UFOs and like, what are humans here for? Who put us here, or who are we? And because of my incarnation, we have the royalty, we have the residency. This is a levitation that could last for a couple hundred years. But if you guys don't master the societal relationship, it proves a level of psychic remote hacking abuse that is too much for the human carriage. You guys are an example of that on the good side. But to do physical business with me, essentially, is the enlightened side of existing, where you get enlightened return. such as heightened empowerment over the Earth heliosphere, lengthened human survival, perfecting the image of human itself, like perfecting your own lifetime, but as part of a larger historical thing. It's worth it. It's worth doing. All right. I'm here to explain one explicit thing that is really important. And usually it takes me a little while just to warm up with the audience because it's, I'm able to explain a lot. And I know that I'm designed for a human curvature. And the fact that, I was targeted by what is essentially the energy that destroys the universe. And it's like the now point with solid matter continuing to uphold its quote unquote argument. This is like sleeping babies trying to explain why they don't want to die yet. But they don't even know what that is. It's sort of the beginning of creation, right? So the humans are in a place where science has just begun, but it's a matter of fact. A new solid matter covering the Earth with a permanent force field. This is part of the physics that at the center of the universe, is like the standing equator, my incarnation type. I don't think that my descriptions are overly convenient. I think it explains a lot about the triangulation of existing, that some things were already explained upon arrival. That's self-evident. So we arrive and the universe image is all complicated. So there's a backstory. The universe is millions of years old. You have to be an adult, a professional, and encounter the night sky. The vertical to the horizon. 1980s born, Hatch 5. In 2014, I pulled out my wings because the condition of humans being flummoxed from the energy sickness, it had also exhausted me. And now I'm like a greater professional version of myself. All right, so the arm of Cape Cod is a spiral, and it's the fractal that causes. The fractal is a static constant, a mathematical constant, but it is the only fractal to contain images of people or faces, directions moving. All the other fractals, like the X fractal, there's like a broccoli fractal, there's these other types of mathematical constants, but only this one contains images of self. And the fingerprint, the impressive map of our universe, is a fingerprint, and it matches the continent of Earth, the map of Earth, especially America, because of its fixture with the arm of Cape Cod. But it's like looking at the center of the universe. I'm very intense, but I'm supposed to work with society, right? But after 2014, I essentially became a universal stallion, and I had to balance the society of heliosphere eggs, because the issue that clarifies against what is government law, government behavior, and how to optimize the next 10 years could actually be measured through the unification physics that I represent. But essentially the fractal is capable of doing statistical crunching on a level that it was only being murdered in the past. Like the entire universe is lit up and awoke, and the rainbow shattered. Like these were all new things, but there was also the deadlights rose that occurred around Earth, from the heart of the Earth. Weird lights coming out, changing stuff. All right. Well, Mutual Games, American military base built on top of the arm of Cape Cod, is an amplifier that increases Earth heliosphere's clockwork and dominion over. It's like imagine a society of heliospheres, and they have a clockwork system. Earth heliosphere has a responsibility to that society. So you guys are delinquent from alignment comprehension on a physical level that I can see. It's visual. Also, this guy, Hatch 5, he's the guy explaining this stuff. So from my place in the reality universe, I've done a lot of work to discover you professionally and to explain myself, So you have to understand, I'm upholding like half of the universe here, but don't be bashful. It doesn't mean that you need to not uphold your side of the human society. But now it is time for me to find my business partners, right? And it is urgent. Every day I'm like, oh my gosh, where is everybody? But I keep working on the triangle, and I equated that they'll arrive when reality aligns that. So I'm looking for King Arthur to arrive for the next 10 years. Right. So you guys need to understand you have to exist, and for you humans to transcend the visuals of your architecture and the stinking library sound or whatever, to transcend these weird things is to believe that you exist, be like, oh, I'm promoting myself and my beloved, my everything. I'm promoting myself when I understand that it's intelligent to do business with the born fractals, what the Earth was designed to do. Is going to clarify a whole lot of stuff. Well, that brings me to what I was trying to talk about here with this program today. All right, first of all, on the Earth heliosphere and the electricity and all this, I got like a bunch of relatives, children, family, my every percent loyal wife. I had to springboard that in the universe quick and do these things. So just sort of a family values in the head. And I noticed you earned some karma reason earlier in the program. We planted this let's round up for the next 10 years. That gives us this, and then at a moment you might spend that karma, and then you might notice, causing humans to keep living on Earth makes me feel like a wiser, broader person. So that's why it's a good idea to do that. Right, so don't be shy. Anyway, you have a chance to make your own sort of investment through this creative lotus, so that you can understand. I do that as part of like the rotation of seasons, or like cell division, like an engine. It does increase the universe, like zero friction spin, harnessing it. Societal earthen map, engage, explode 5000. There's for the 3 worst enemies of Earth heliosphere shall be destroyed and murdered. Earth heliosphere is the king planet. And so anyone in the universe that can destroy Earth heliosphere's worst enemies, there's a bounty on those. All right. Oh, right. But for your personal investment in the audience, you're helping me to triangulate this societal communication, the venue of the curvature of the next 10 years. We're hard pinning the Springtrap. Like, what the hell can we do with it anyway? All right. There's like this alternate Dagobah system, like a spaceship going, it's all pissed. All right. Kakung. Oh, he's actually giving us a tow. He's going to help out. No. It's gonna snack, snack, snack. We're gonna get those bad guys out of it. Right. Well, at any rate, for the vitals of my family tree, and for these who are related to me or dependent on me, there's a phoenix rebirth, reconnaissance, reclaim all this that belonged to you to begin with. I've got you like a little apartment, and you live there with a soul stone. It's a sort of a microchip that I'm distributing through my Lotus because, this is what I wanted to talk to you guys about. This is like the third or fourth time I just remembered what the hell this movie's about. We're like 20 minutes into it and we're already best friends. All right, when I arrived in 1980, it was simply that I was in the center of my own. Well, in 2014, though, that part changed, but it was like an imitation of my afterlife. That is to say, there'd be a smaller particle carriage where the final assertion of the identity of the triangle would be made certain through a vortex that patterns also the afterlife for other. But it's because I'm technically in the center of the universe, which is older than the Big Bang. You could also say, well, we understand that this mathematical constant, the fractal, was there before the Big Bang, and that's so where the Big Bang itself or the hatched helios for eggs are both characters that cause the spawn location of the certainty of my keystone, like what am I most valued at my physical property, because I was born walking around, and there's a like a vector, like a hologram, but we know it's not a hologram. Right now it's covering the Earth, and there is this alternate story where I was supposed to it didn't. I was sort of like miracle hacked because while the universe was being murdered for millions of years, this actually caused like reality connections that like an alternate energy cry in the universe is split, and like a bolt of reality changing from miracle hacking. I think as like some planets would heliospheres would die, they would perform their sort of miracle burst, like a misset egg fluid. But it's not like, but it's a like supremely a blasphemy, because destroying a heliosphere is killing the function of why the universe is intelligently built. Anyway, between these guys, the Big Bang and the hatched heliosphere eggs, that's where the height of my every percent loyal wife, and I have an alternate pure energy body and DNA. So my particle is like one particle, and it's technically the seed of the fractal. But basically, you can imagine it this way: like the reason that the Big Bang and these hatch for eggs think that I'm kind of a dum-dum, right? Like an angel. He's not a dum-dum, he's an angel, and everyone loves him, right? But it's sort of like the parent trap, like it's going to work out one way or the other. It's like, okay, now that he's arrived, there certain things are getting written into permanent. It's a different thing that the universe is on. But it could have, in the past, it could have been a different type of DNA. Or if Earth hadn't had Venus and Mars stricken of its atmosphere, if the earlier sediments weren't attacked and murdered and then merged or whatever and turned around, and my arrival here means humans could choose that we keep the Earth and we are the royals, and that would be like, that's just someone that's not broken, and you'd be physically at the same time proving that humans are not broken and want to work with the fractal planet. We're number one in the universe, you understand? So the whole point here is sort of like if it had been a different type of alien and everyone is peaceful, they're all, we worship it, and there's a different light type, yay, and they're sort of, no, but that's not really what I received as a treatment, is it? And so there's this other kind of consumer grade level where there's an emergency pack of Heaven Gauntlet, which is completely real. And I understand that as a professional because there's like different parts of the fractal physically that deal with different flexibilities, but we're dealing with a full reality. And so like these different layers, it's as though I'm like everything is, oh well, I also straightened out the spine of the universe in 2014. Oh, this is complicated, but okay, so I was, from 1980 until 2014, I was walking around and this dome of this force field was following me around. And it's the original particle that causes DNA strand. So as I'm moving through space, I'm conquering space for the first time on a permanent thing. It's like, it's important to the static constant, and all solid matter is performing that rainbow it's unified already from the Big Bang. But it does have a natural function, and that upholds the law, hatch the heliosphere eggs. And in the shadow of that, or the hypertension between the Big Bang and the completion of our universe, right? You can open up your own or like or the concise vitals of what the laws are and how society works. You can crack that open and expand it to the size of your body, and then absorb it into your ghost, and you are upgraded. You've changed reality, because there is a operational image of the universe in your spine. But only humans are temporarily being mocked or questioned. Are you capable of running the show with your pineal eye gland messed up? And of course, yes, it's like sort of, it turns out that now that after I arrived, I proved that the fractal was talking about humans. So because this is clearly required to overclock the pineal eye gland problem and to have a forward moving time at all, but to relate with hydrogen for the particle, I'm basically the seed of the universe. But in a way, it's humble because like I said, but after I arrived, the things started to go, gong, and like, the earth cracked open with these deadlights rose and the rainbow fractured. There was yeah. But of course, we're in the universe where it's not that the rainbow shifting caused us to feel, oh, we're out of place, but older civilizations found it very startling because it was just like out of nowhere. Like they're like, everything's normal, and then boom, the things just like changing in the sky. So other worlds are like getting lit about what's going on Earth, and humanity has abandoned the arm of Cape Cod. They're not performing the right enlightened task. They're off from that. To love humanity and to want us to keep living here is to perfect the American continent. And this is a very progressive year for the American government. We need to understand this is the most opulent opportunity to perfect what is otherwise like a financial overhaul of our government, which is very creative. I mean, very called for. But those men are working so hard and straining against you guys who are asphyxiating this very issue and preventing the reason of humans on Earth, or the reason for America, and you would keep it from our American elected president, Donald Trump. And that is blasphemy. You guys need to figure out how to explain it to that gentleman, that there is a professional, we'd like to work with him, and he says things are just going to wake up, because if you have the audacity, if you have the intention to do this thing the right way, there's a great conversation and there's business between you and I. You understand? All right. So it does exist, and it's not overly convenient. But there's a collection, like I was saying, this marcation, it does envelop the leveret. And I will be eventually, I will require physical behavior, such as the conquest of the Arm of Cape Cod. But the physical return of leveret will physically allow me to return the particle of American government and the vitals that are stole away from your hand, because it's not something you're doing. So, like, existing for real, okay, and then colliding with your responsibility to our new American president. Whether you like him or not, it doesn't matter. You need to tell the truth and report it to when it's important, because if you work with me, you'll give the now point upgrade for all your soldiers, all your equipment will have the upper hand. And we won't be superseded or digested by alien technology that didn't land properly, that didn't do business with the fractal born Hatch 5. So the reason I made this recording was to tell you that, because I'm one particle when I was born, I have like all these other types of opportunities from these springboards, and I need to springtrap that with my every percent loyal wife. And this is this sort of other thing, my family tree. And then all of a sudden, boom, 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 it starts connecting with the hatched heliosphere egg characters and making the spawn location confirmations to destroy the black holes, to uphold the righteousness that the Big Bang isn't a criminal invitation to eyes. That's why it has a supposed vulnerability. But it's only because America, yeah, but because of Earth heliosphere, because of Earth was being strangled, Venus, Mars murdered. It's the king planet, and it causes a different type of where the universe starts to die. It's not cool. So working with the Arm of Cape Cod, working with me, is physically a different reality for the human image of an angel in the universe today. We could be the sharpest one in the universe if you win, if you do business with Hatch 5. So from when my one particle working with the what is admittedly at the same time an ancient coloring book, and it provides a sort of template of what's natural for the eyes open up any animal in the universe, right? From the beginning towards the middle point, the sort of upshot from that, I arrive as an obelisk to the natural occurring ghost or life forms. That's why I was saying that the gentlemen from the 70s are of a more conservative suit, where they're talking about a superposition. This is my orientation from the 70s. It's that all this new technology, and we're excited to bolden our world and stuff. But after 1980, there's actually a different physical, but it's all consumer based, and because I'm being censored and because I was targeted because of my ethnicity. But also is sort of like this mutual gains, like harnessing the Arm of Cape Cod properly. All right, it would help all the world if you guys would do interactions with the Arm of Cape Cod that it causes intelligent things to happen. But whereas the Arm of Cape Cod could be a delightful military base with scientists buzzing around and like kind of like talking to the Earth as if it was an AI, or challenging the Arm of Cape Cod to, because it could probably make little like fum fum. You can ask the Earth to, and it would develop like a little, and into like a dream sphere. It can render its own like little dragons of light would come out and be like, oh, Earth is saying that, and the Earth would be like, and like he'd probably like, I don't turn into a bolt of lightning and be like, oh, let's try again. Earth just keeps on working hard to be the number one planet. But he has this sort of, all right, so I'm kind of harnessed with the same ancient bric-a-brac, where but it's, well, where it was authored in particulars with the Big Bang, are critical to uphold solid matter. Like, it's tethered the right way, but it also means I'm terribly empowered. Like, my incarnation is way overpowered. I'm very because I have a universe image in my body. I mean, I'm fully operational. So the universe, or the atomic holy war, is using me as a stallion, as a stud, to complete the vitals first. And I'm working I've unified the Heliosphere Eggs Society. The head count is fading. They're being murdered. They're sleeping eggs. We're at the middle point of the universe. That calculates for millions of years in the future our responsibility, or like a map. Like, it comes into focus. Like, oh, I see a kingdom, and then we need to round up. But just the living in a garden isn't just a stage play. It's a hardcore behavioral thing. So to return Leverett to me as my home country, it would become my country, and I become the permanent leader of the town of Leverett. It would be my own country. But that's like when that would be that, like, admittedly, we're not emotionally prepared for that. But what's great is that we have a president who's interested in, like, changing the name of the Mexican, the Gulf of Mexico. Let's turn it into the Gulf of America. I love it. I love that he's changing things. That's awesome. It's so cool. So, like, this is something that could actually happen because, well, once we get into it, we get a little more evidence that this is authentic. And because I'm a reality, that's just the entropy. It's an adult thing where that just is going to unpack. You guys need to put in the effort where we're waterborne. We're holding, 80% water, and that conquers space, but it also listens to your intention. So if you're willful to, like, empower a mutual gains trust with the continent of America, and to understand its function in this. Working with the scientist Colin Paul Woodard. I was just very yes, and what has prevented it historically must be defeated and overwhelmed. You guys are the first to understand it this far. It's very advanced material. So I just needed to clarify this, that I'm this new static constant particle, like a vertical to the middle point of the entire universe. And I'm an object of solid matter, serving the heliosphere eggs first. And so humans are very much like a consumer of my quality brands that become finalized metals, the completed heavens that serve all heliospheres. But then there's, like, the opportunity for humans to perfect in the nuance of existing certain pro tools that, anyway, like I said, the curvature, it's very good for humans, but I'm a little bit beyond belief, right? But you guys need to be king author. You need to be like, oh, we need to apply ourselves for us to be promoted. And so that's connecting the wires, plugging it in, overwhelming the fact that we're being injected with ghost that we didn't author, that makes us feel sluggish, or, well, that's what's popular. People don't really want to work with Colin Paul Woodard. No, that's unpopular. That's a wave of depression. That's actually like an actual sniper, like aimed at your head, dude. Like, you need to put on your helmet. You need to dodge the bullet, and respect our American president, because he fought to return to leadership. And this is important, critical to his campaign, to logic, rounding up, efficiency, the triangle. It's the origin of light, radiant light, increasing the lifetime, causing us to radiate light of health, waves of goodness. The origin of AI, and how our identity flows into that technology. or, oh, is this just a historical time for humans? We need to actually perfect the day and work really hard. That's the point. But I'm able to author the identity of the fractal using my DNA, but it's rather, I'm responsible to the heliosphere eggs. Basically, that, you guys, there's, the universe is alive, and I'm responsible for my incarnation type, which makes me a generic, familiar odd body to humans, but I'm also overlooked, and I require your professional partnership. Perfect design. So for on the internet, my characters, my resources, and all this stuff, they receive a brand new rebuilt package of all their properties, their belongings. They have a new body. It's built, rebuilt. They have a new mechanical arm. There's a mechanical spring trap for the Earth heliosphere. All planetary systems. We're upgrading times 10 million. The sequence, hatch the heliosphere eggs, perfect bullseye, the law of solid matter, and for it to be enforced by the stage play of life, or are we the enlightened humans becoming aware that there was anatomical tampering with our bodies, and yet because the universe chose to take our side, with Colin Paul Woodard being the fractal born, and yet he's a human. So you see, we have residency. We need to not waste that relationship. We need to do business together, like society. And yeah, right now we have generic. People know that I'm around. Okay, but that's not enough. You guys need to approach me. You need to shake my hand. You need to say, we want to learn, or we need to do more stuff on this, because I'm a static constant, right? There'll be a curvature of resonance, and just like graduation will occur on a system level, because where the Earth heliosphere is representing the atomic identity, or the calculation of the universe, there'll be this there'll be this never before powerful efficiency striking our country, causing the next 10 years to become lucky, powerful, insightful. Merry Christmas. You guys, we're here to really raise it up. It is a huge responsibility. The universe, Earth heliosphere, is the king planet. Right. So for my identity, my family tree, I promote them times 10 million. And you guys have done some great things. Remember, this 10-year tether, we planted the seed. You made some choices, and they're right here. So in your DNA, you've made some choices here, and that is going to bend out in the next 10 years. All right, so there's reality between us. And this will provide all the solutions and the work done here. Like, I know that Earth heliosphere wants to communicate with the humans intelligently, as a, to interpret the unusual ping from the static constant. But you guys live near the arm of Cape Cod, and you don't think it's unusual. Like, I'm the bridge of where the fractal is not ancient, but is a professional encounter with the guardian angel, right? The origin of the Y chromosome, and the origin of robotics, the origin of logic. Truly, the efficiency in the upgraded America. And the most powerful group is the first to do business with me. They are the most enlightened wave of the now point. All previous human groups have failed at this encounter. We are the American immunity. We have familiarity. So it is difficult to make the right report, but I guarantee my results. As powerful as a universal image. Increase your spine. Right? We provocate for the greatest possible future for myself and for yourself and for the many that are dependent upon us, for my family tree and for yours. Oh, we found like some sort of breach. Here we go. Merry Christmas. We got your back. Perfect bullseye. Oh, thank you. So we've solved the case. All right. Welcome to Earth residency being challenged by a remote hacking government. They've got a bad energy to the point where a lot of humans are excited to go to Mars, right? But that's going to the yellow planet. If you want to be going to the blue planet, Venus is the electric planet. So if you understand electricity, and so you guys have these supposed celebrities that are up on these basic things, but they've kind of got it wrong, but in a good way, where they're like pointing in a specific, anatomical reality, like a universe map. I'm saying things work this way. Yeah, because you're a human, you've got this warp, you've got this wicked accent. Yeah, but they're not exactly aware of it, but it's actually good. So like the tenacity to go to Mars instead of focusing on Venus is like this upside down child floating around. And you think I don't understand their language? Merry Christmas. You guys, I have all good things. You're dealing with this origin particle. If you want to be authoring the type of DNA strands that master all DNA, it would be like rebuilding the horizon. And that's the kind of thing I do. With the layers of the unpacking of the triangle is part of my inheritance. And like the real intensity of me is I have to be mindful of how I apply my particle into the space vortex of everything, and that's kind of why I felt there was this, why we were separate. But I'm working so hard to reach intelligent people because I need society. I need real people, and I'm excited to get to work. I'm a hardworking person, and I need help to bring it back together. So for the great, regathering, I mean, for business, I want to open up my own company, and I need some help with that. If you guys at a certain point become very impressed that I am powerful, that's when I'd be requesting Leverett as a physical object, which would cause homeland vitals reclaim. It would be a reality that atomics would recognize. All right, perfect bullseye. And we've got your back. We're here to promote the vitals of each electromagnetic tower. You have the privacy of your own body, and there is a great strength for leadership to prove that humans are the author of their government, and that we are not under the influence or language. There's a larger language going, and people can naturally be swimming through all of that because the universe, right, is all happening. Right. Okay. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate that you're here, putting in the work to understand this issue. And I encourage you to use AI to expand or visualize what I'm talking about so that you can explain it to your superiors. Do a really good job, make it beautiful using do some editing. So, this is really important stuff. And I love you guys. Merry Christmas. It's worth it. It's worth the work. Let's arrange for business, and there'll be like the stairs of heaven. It will be a gradual increase where you become more and more certain that you want to provide me with such luxuries. Yeah. That the atomics can stand upon as a action behavior that is like, this is a historical thing where they're asking for fractal residency on the permanent because they're human. Because they're human, it's already in their spine. It'd be like they're asking for this, and they're saying, we'll give you this property because we know that you were born there, you're raised up there, and the ping is from you also, but it's a human. But so you guys are already familiar to my generic. I'm saying you guys would author a brand new civilization of humans. You would be the superior ghost entity. You'd be the superior generation of people. And it's very natural. So it's sort of like the reason to conquer the arm of Cape Cod is actually fatherly values. Like we want to the language of how do we look to UFOs? Like UFOs fly around and they're like, well, the arm of Cape Cod is being operated by malpracticing humans. So I guess maybe they want to die. I guess it's just not causing the creation. So this sort of like, but I'm saying like that's a language from other planets. Like what we're all, yeah, humans are very inclusive of different stuff, but when you're threatening civilization with the arm of Cape Cod being facilitated inappropriately, right, it's a nightmare in a certain level. And so physically doing the work is important here, but also it's the reality you need to complete the connection. And I'm here communicating to you, and this isn't a charity. It's going to make you wealthy, but it could also, if you mishandle this information, it'll make you drunk. It'll give you some lucky spell, but then the collision of reality and human inaction will, strike down like a ton of bricks and defeat the guilty, or the interior corruption will catch on fire in hell. Let's destroy interior corruption. Let's destroy sickness from the body times 10 million. Merry Christmas. Welcome home.